and welcome to Trucking Along with Kearsey. That's me, your positive voice in trucking. I was asked what's the difference between T&T and PSD because, you know, we're primates and we use our own little acronyms. And so I figured I'd explain that and also explain how the pay works. There are different specifications and pay rates if you come in with your CDL, different requirements if you come into Prime with your CDL. So I'm going to discuss that. So when somebody comes to Prime, and please use my driver code down there, I do get a referral bonus. I like money, so if you get anything out of my videos, I would appreciate it. And it doesn't matter if you give me the referral bonus or not and you contact me, I promise I'm going to be here to help you no matter what. So, and even if you're at another company, I have a lot of friends at other companies that I might be able to help you answer some questions or you know, help you work through the stages at your other company. You go through an orientation. Prime pays for your transportation to get here, your hotel. They give you food vouchers for that first week in orientation. And then after that, they advance you $200 a week. That is a pay advance, basically. You do not actually get paid until you get your CDL. It takes most people about 2 weeks to get their CDL once they go through orientation. So if you struggle, it could take longer. So my suggestion is, and it doesn't matter if you come to Prime or not, whatever company you decide to go to, pre-trip, pre-trip, pre-trip. Know your pre-trip before you come in, because the less time I have to deal with pre-trip or your instructor needs to deal with pre-trip, the more time you get to back and drive. I keep hearing so many students that are coming in and they're like, well, my trainer didn't go over this with me, or they're not going over with me enough. There's only so much I can tell you about the pre-trip. Make sure you know what the parts are and the wording, but you have to be the one to memorize that wording. And I can't just drill it into your head. So that is probably something that's really frustrating for a trainer. Expect to not be home for at least, 3 to 4 weeks. Okay? If you struggle, it's going to take you longer, so be aware of that. In the meantime, you're getting $200 a week as a pay advance. It's meant for you not to pay your bills or your car payment. It's meant for you to be able to buy toiletries and food and, allow you to survive out on the road. Now, how does Prime do the training with your permit? They do it 2 different ways. Okay, there are some people like me that take multiple students. I don't take more than 3. I think the most I had was 4 at one time, but I'm kind of sticking to 3 at a time. And I do a group setting where I'm going over pre-trip, I'm answering questions, doing my introduction, showing you the steps for different maneuvers, and then I break it up so that we're doing one-on-one time for 2 to 3 hours at a time, and then I'll rotate my students at different times of the day. So that's how I do it. Everybody does it differently. I also have a friend that will get his student. He takes them out on the road for 10 days. He brings them back to the backing pad. They do a few days of the backing maneuvers, and then his student will test out. Once you pass your exam, you literally walk with your test scores across to a counter and you sign up to become an employee at that point. At that point, you wind up making $900 a week. If you test in the middle of the week, it's prorated that first week. Make sure you bring anything that you need as identification. Your birth certificates, marriage certificates. We have to deal with name changes as women, so divorce. I think I had to have my divorce certificate, passports, your bank deposit slips for your direct deposit. Sometimes you can download those from a website. Sometimes you can get it like as a PDF file and download it from your email, and I've had students that just printed out the paper once they were here. So those are important. Do not forget them. You need your permit, you need your license. Somebody actually mailed home their driver's license once they got here, thinking, oh, well, I want to keep this safe. No, you need your license while you're here. So Some people, like I said, do go out on the road. It doesn't matter whether you go out on the road or you stay in the terminal with a trainer like me. We are going to make sure that you are able to pass this exam and you have everything that you need and all the tools. And if you do struggle, trainers like me, we're going to go take you to a different instructor, get different tips, see how they do it, because sometimes, even though I'm telling you the same thing that somebody else does, they might explain it in a slightly different way that it makes go, oh, and then it clicks. Sometimes that just happens. Sometimes just hearing somebody else reinforce what your instructor says really makes you start to trust them more, because even though every single one of my students says, trust your instructor, listen to your instructor, you guys don't know us, so that builds a little bit of time. I trained on a manual, and my CDL instructor kept telling me, trust the clutch, get your foot off my brake. Why? Because when you keep stopping and stopping and stopping, you're interrupting the flow of the backing maneuver. But I told him, I was like, look, me and Mr. Brake, we've had a relationship for the past 25 years. I just met Mr. Clutch, so it's going to take a little bit of time for me to trust Mr. Clutch. I did a video that talked about the pay increase. It used to be $700 a week while you were in training. That's gross. And now it's $900 a week. And some people thought that I was doing that as clickbait, like, oh, you're not telling the whole story. No, in my head, the idea of training was really the portion where you get hired. So Prime considers somebody with their permit to be a D seat. D seat means that you're in that PSD phase, you only have your permit. You might go out with an instructor on the road, you might stay in-house with an instructor like me. But that's the PSD phase. You don't get paid, you get a $200 advance, and once you do pass, you pay that $200 a week back in $25 a week increments. So you do pay it back. But if you come and you don't have any money, that can really help some people. So then you start getting $900 a week. And if you went through the PSD program at Prime, you do 30,000 team miles. That's truck miles. That's your trainer and the student's miles. That we call it a trainee. So you're a student when you have your permit, and you're a trainee once you're hired. So that's TNT is trainer and trainee. Okay, and it is a team situation, and you start getting paid $900 a week. It's for 30,000 truck miles, the trainer's miles and your miles, and you're considered a B seat at that point. The letters confuse people, but if you come into Prime with your CDL, you do 40,000. You do 40,000 team miles, and you get paid less. You get paid $800 a week. I believe it's for a month. Ask your recruiter. One of the recruiters that I've been working with is Nikki Yost. That's Nikki Yost, Y-O-S-T. So give her a call. Tell her I sent you. If you want to use my link below to apply, then make sure you put her down as your recruiter, and then she can answer any of your questions. She's really good at answering things. So, and if you, for whatever reason, can't get in touch with her, then you can always message me, and I'll make sure that you get the answers you need. Be prepared to run team. I'm going to talk about this more in another video, but be prepared to run team. Team is one drives, one sleeps. You stop a few hours every day, you're going to learn different things. You're going to learn the dropping hooks. You're going to learn, doing the Qualcomm and your hours of service and your trip planning, and you're going to do more backing. You're going to see the actual hands-on stuff of how this does, and you better be doing it too. Yes, you better be doing it. So you're gonna fuel, and something I hear a lot from people will be, Well, my trainer sucks, they didn't let me fuel. Well, I don't know how to fuel. You should not be going onto your own truck not knowing how to fuel. Even if your trainer did not show you, you get your butt out of the truck and you go watch and you find it out. You figure it out. You watch them. There are so many people that will tell me, well, you know, my trainer didn't do this, or my trainer sucked, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, well, what were you asking? Were you asking questions? Were you trying to figure this out? So if you come in with your CDL, you're considered a C seat. You get $800 a week, I believe, for the first 30 days, and then it gets bumped up to the $900 a week. And at that point, you become a B seat, okay? Those are minimum miles. And I get so many people that say, well, I got my 30,000 miles and now I want my truck. It doesn't work that way either, I'm sorry. Those are minimum miles. And if you have an accident, if you have a ticket, if you know, you have a critical event, meaning a hard break. I did a video about critical events, I'll post up here. If you have those types of occurrences, Prime could add miles. Somebody got caught, got a ticket holding a cell phone. That person received an extra 20,000 miles. That is a really serious ticket that you can get. I believe in California it's $2,500 for that ticket. And it's so serious that if you get caught again, there are some states that they'll take your CDL after your second offense. So make sure you're using hands-free devices. And then once you hit your miles, the various departments then check your record. We have the logs department. We'll make sure that you know how to use your hours of service properly. We'll have the claims department to make sure that if you were having any kind of like, if you have driving issues, it could shift the load. So if while you were on the truck, you had some instances where you were hard braking or speeding or not controlling your vehicle around curves, that kind of thing, it could actually cause the load to shift. You're going to be checked out for that. The safety department, the citations department, we have all these different departments that are going to sit there and they're going to go through your record and make sure that you are qualified and eligible to get your own truck. Then what happens? Then you get placed on a list. And usually that list comes out on Wednesday. So by Wednesday, they should know if you're going to be able to come into the terminal and get your truck. Okay. This has been a little difficult for some people because it might take a week to 2 weeks for you to get your truck. I'm going to do another video about working for fleet owners within Prime. Because if there's not a truck available for you to be a company driver and you want to be a company driver, then you could go to certain people that own trucks that need to have someone driving for them. So I want people to be aware of some serious issues when it comes to that and deciding what fleet owner to drive for. Okay, so then you'll come on and you'll get your truck. You'll come into the terminal and you will go through an upgrade class. You will wind up going through a simulator class. By this time, you would have already taken the simulator. You'd be aware of what it is because you've done it in the PSD phase during orientation. You wind up doing a bunch of computer-based training classes, which are very similar to the ones you would have done already. So it's not some big scary thing like, oh, I'm going to upgrade and it's going to be scary. It's not. And when they give you their truck, they'll give you a paper with a list of all the different things that they think you should have. And for example, like it'll say, go to the parts department. When you go to the parts department, make sure you have extra wiper blades, oil, all your different fluids, antifreeze and that kind of stuff, light bulbs, fuses. It's a whole list. And you just go up to the parts department, give them your ComData card, tell them your truck number, and you just get this whole package. When you're going through our outbound department, you're going to wind up going inside and getting checks and and trip sheets from our driver lineup. You can get anti-gel chains, load locks from the outbound guys, and one of them is my buddy Eric. Hi, Eric. And so there's going to be information for you of what to do. And if you don't know, all you have to do is ask somebody. For the most part, any trucker walking by can sit there and tell you. And there's always at least 1,000 trucks sitting there, you know, with people coming in and going out all the time. But, you know, and going solo can be very scary for some people. There are team situations that you can get into. You could stay on the truck with your trainer if the two of you get along and you want to continue to team. They want to continue driving through the winter time and they want to learn. So, you know, there's so much flexibility that there's no reason to be nervous. There are some people that they'd rather go out with a teammate rather than staying solo. So you can do that too. You know, something that my student Maria, if you guys watch the channel, you've seen her, you know, she was upgrading and she's like, oh, I can't back. I'm so scared. I didn't do enough backing. Nobody feels like they got enough backing. The only way to conquer backing is to just get out and do it. Get out and do it and keep stopping, get out to look, try to understand where the tires are going, try to understand the angles. And, you know, it's so hard to teach as a trainer, because unless you see it and you do it, like I actually do it so they see it, and then I explain it while I'm doing it, and then I make my students do it, because different people learn differently. Some people have to hear it, some people have to do it, some people have to watch it. So I incorporate all those, and guess what? I'm going to do another video for people who want to train. So I hope that explains a little bit about the difference between PSD and TNT and about the pay and all that, because some people did think that I kind of was clickbaiting, but I really wasn't, because, you know, the pay rate did increase. It's just a matter of who's eligible for that increase. You know, if you come into Prime through the PSD phase and you get hired, that's when you get paid. When you're in PSD and you're a student and you don't have a CDL, you're not an employee, so you're not getting paid. And then if you come with a CDL, you actually make less money per week than you would if you had come through Prime's training program. And like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and I hope to see you out here truck along. Bye.